Welcome back, my people. What's the Word podcast? Appreciate everybody tuning in to Master Ace. This very, very dope interview. Salute to man, a living legend for real, for real. We got Daddy Yo from Sonic coming through. Definitely, I can't wait for this thing. I got so much to get to with Daddy Yo. It's definitely shout out my dude Todd Davis. Over here, doing what we do. Shout out to Master Ace, you know what I mean, for coming through. That was definitely. Let's start next. What's the Word podcast? We here. IG Live. Peace,
Yep.
peace.
What up?
How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm great, actually. I'm
Absolutely.
great.
First off, salute to you coming through. I apologize about the delay. I just know Luda and them were doing their thing, and the
Oh,
world.
yeah. No doubt, no doubt.
And I had a feeling too. I said, these dudes are gonna go over because they're gonna have too much fun with this. So,
Right. Yeah,
yeah,
it was pretty good. Cats seem like they still having that little audio issue.
yeah.
I
Oh
was
man,
just looking at Teddy and Jamie Foxx was just doing something for Andre, and Jamie Foxx audio was perfect, and Teddy audio was still trash.
yeah. I don't. You think they'd have? They have an engineer studio session. Do you think they'd have it for the IG?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because it's new to everybody,
For sure.
and um, it shouldn't be. I will say that because I've been dealing with technology for a while, so it shouldn't be new to everybody. But it's tough because it's new to everybody. But I would think that people their age, I'll just say it like that. I would think that people their age would do simple things like I do dumb tests, like I just will just record myself with my video camera and
Yeah,
play it back to see if my head was right or the music was, you know what I mean? Like that's this to me it's simple things that you could do. They don't have to be highly technologically perfect. You just test yourself, you
yeah.
know.
And you can do it an hour before you go on too, just to make sure.
Yeah. I
You know.
mean, there's things that they could do, but I mean, I guess, it's all good though. The ill part is that the audience in most cases you might see a couple of little comments come up where people say, your audio's too low or whatever. But then after that, they don't care.
It's been hit or miss. Like Luda sounded good. I know Premiere sounded good, and it took
Right.
for the RZA, but Premiere had good speakers, and he set the phone next to him. I
Right.
worry about the iRig, so this and that. I know a couple of people that I know about the iRig, and there is a delay, so that like you said, they figuring out this is new. This is
Yeah, it's new. It's new. So I mean, salute to them, man. I mean, eh, I got a whole like Twitch is a whole better channel to do that kind of stuff.
and I was
You know
like,
what I mean?
yeah, absolutely.
So, but to each his own. Like I said, I mean, I think my opinion is if the audience gets what they want, that's the most important part,
Yeah, and I think
right?
that's dope about the one yesterday is they looked like they were both having fun the whole time.
Yeah. And if the audience gets what they want, that is the most important thing. Like, regardless to what I have to say about technology or whatever, like none of that matters. As long as the people get what they want, especially, most cities, if they not like, I mean, we lucky here. I live in Houston, so we mad lucky. The restaurants are packed today and everything, but um, most cities are still locked down.
Mm-hmm.
So for the most part, even these cities that's having these soft openings, people are still a little skeptical about, what I mean, coming out. So, people sitting home, that's entertainment for them. That's better than the television that they will watch. A lot of times that when we looking at things, even though Luda premiered a new record last night, a lot of times when we looking at things, we're looking at it for the nostalgia of it,
Of
like
course,
stuff that we like and love and all of that kind of stuff. So I think it's good entertainment for the people. I mean, it's really been holding a lot of people down.
it has, and I like the fact too that someone like Premiere, would actually right now be doing that live and getting paid for a concert. Instead,
Right. Absolutely.
he instead sat there on IG and did it for free for everybody.
Absolutely.
And same with us.
Absolutely. Yeah. So salute to them, man. Like I said, as long as the audience is getting what they want, that's the most important part.
Yeah, absolutely. So, man, what's new with you, my friend? What's going on in Daddy O's world?
It's so funny, man. So I'm working on a bunch of stuff, but I just, so between last night and this morning, man,
I love when it's
seriously, like, yo, I seriously got an answer. Like, because, you always hear people say, well, not always, but, often you hear people say, what's wrong with hip hop? And people talk about what's wrong with hip hop. And, people got all types of answers, right? You got that hard military extreme, like the Professor Griff type people that's into this Illuminati, whatever they into. You know what I mean? Like, oh, these people destroyed it and they wanted to do. Then you got other people that just kind of believe artists are lazy. Then you got other people. And I realized, man, hip hop's problem is scientific.
okay.
Two things. One, if we are to consider, and I'm using that lightly. If we are to consider that hip hop is a culture, no culture has ever survived thoroughly and I was gonna make up a word, but no culture has ever been prosperous, and I don't mean just in money, but just healthy. That's a better word.
Mm-hmm.
No culture has ever been healthy without the advice of its elders. That's one.
Okay.
Two, because of the conversation I had with a sister last night, I got online and started doing some studies. And scientifically, young people don't have the brains of elders. This is scientific. They can't even think the way a person who is experienced thinks. And so when you look at what's going on in hip hop, and especially the young people, and that's not like a fault to them, but especially the young people and them almost leading it. You know what I mean? Just on the music, this is probably on the music side, right? Because there's other elements to hip hop, and young people are definitely not leading graffiti arts inside of galleries. They're definitely not the ones that, even if they're going on tour for breakdancing, it's guys like Crazy Legs and them taking them on tour for breakdancers, right? They're not leading in the DJ thing at all.
Yeah.
Because there's some dope young DJs, but they can't touch Q-Bird or none of them dudes. They forget it, right? But on the rap side, and that's what we mostly hear, with the young people having that kind of lead and their brains not being able to handle it, herein lies the problem. So I got that from talking about my personal I could call it opinion, but it's I'm moving toward it being actual facts, that the problem with hip hop is that old dudes like me ain't rapping. I mean, that's it.
What I was gonna say is, when was that cosmic shift, or when did this? I mean, all of a sudden it just happened. There had to be.
I don't know if it was a all of a sudden. I can tell you what I see, and I know, and I've said this before, I know that my era of MCs, for the most part, I'm not saying everybody, but for the most part, are comfortable economically.
Mm-hmm.
And you never know what money means until you have it.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. I had an experience with my son, who's now 28, but had an experience with my son one time. I had to go on the road for something. And my son used to always be asking me when he was a teenager about my Rolex. He used to always be like, yo, why you do a Rolex? A Timex, tells just as good a time. Even if I had the money, I would never spend, I would never spend it on a watch. And so I went out of town, and my wife let him wear my Rolex. And when I came back, he had a whole different perspective. You know what I mean? And just the way it felt and everything. So you never know. I say that to say you never know what you're going to do when you get money. And most of us, meaning my era, did not start rapping because we were like, we're going to get rich.
You had no idea.
Right. Like Ice-T is honest about he started rapping because he wants money. But you'll probably never hear me, Chuck D, Kane, Light, Shan. I could keep going on. Dana, Slick Rick, Dougie. You'll never hear us say we started rapping because we thought we was going to get rich. You know, it was more about street cred, and then it became about block cred, and then it became about borough cred. You know what I mean? It was more of that. So we never really knew what was going to happen. A lot of us had jobs and was still doing shows at the Latin Quarter on Sunday or Saturday. You know what I mean? And that was just extra money with the job, right? And practice was after work or after school.
Well, you also had a band too, which was
right.
I mean,
right. So what happens is cats get comfortable. So I think comfortability is part of the shift, right? The fact that they kind of arrived, right? Whether they thought they was going to arrive or not, a lot of guys from my era could live off royalties alone. A lot of them.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm talking about no work, don't do nothing, just when that royalty hits quarterly. And most of the time, most of us have multiple streams of royalties. So it's not just that one quarterly. It might be something else from Sound Exchange and something else from a writer, and then something because of commercial license something or whatever. So I think comfortability is a part of it. And then I think the other part of it is weird enough to say. I think comfortability is a part of it when it comes down to economics and living. Mm-hmm. I think uncomfortability is a part of it when it comes down to rapping.
Yeah, okay.
Because I think some of them are just uncomfortable to rap in this particular atmosphere. They shouldn't be, but I think that they are.
But as you said you didn't know, what was going to stick, if you will. But what did you feel when you were doing it? Because the business was so new at the time, obviously.
We just wanted to make. I don't want to call it peer pressure, right? So I don't want to say peer pressure in particularly, but it was definitely all about your peers, right? Competition. I say this often. Competition is the cornerstone of hip hop, right? So very often that's what it was about. It was about the fact that you wanted to be competitive. I always tell people, if you really want to know what it was, it could almost be described in one Run DMC lyric. And Run said, and here we go, if you say you heard my rhyme, we're gonna have to fight because I just made the motherfucker up last night. That's it in a nutshell. We was coming out with a different rhyme every day. That's why he said, if you say you heard it, we're gonna have to fight, because we wasn't saying the same rhyme. So that's what it was. It was about being fresh, new, competitive, and as constant as you possibly could. Some guys wouldn't come out in the park Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
Because they have nothing for Saturday.
Yeah.
So even if they came out Saturday, they're just hanging around. They never got behind the ropes. They just looking at the rest of us. Some guys like me and T-Funk, God bless the dead, Marky D, and I'm talking about everybody from East New York, we was trying to rhyme every night.
Yeah. But how do we insert that, like you say, it's a cornerstone. How do we insert that back in? Because you can go through these hits, even on Billboard, and everything sound exactly the same. So how do you compete with somebody that sounds?
Here's what I say. Is there a ruler here? This girl had a ruler. Anyway, here's what I say. When we look at where we are, if we say that this is the beginning and this is the end, a lot of times we think we right here. Mm-hmm. And we probably more like right here. So a lot of what's happening in hip hop has to run its course.
Okay.
I be telling these rappers in 3 years, battle rappers is gonna eat all y'all food because they the best. There's nobody better than Sue Surf, K Shine, DNA, JC, Lux. There's really nobody better than them besides for that underground class of self-titled, Vinny Paz, SO and them. You know what I'm saying?
Figured out how to make records though.
Yeah. That's why I say 3 years.
Yeah.
You give them some time.
Yeah.
They don't know how to make records. That's you absolutely right. But even if you look on my page, right? You remember everybody was doing that I don't know if they still doing it, but that don't rush challenge.
Yeah.
All those girls do that don't rush. Look on my page a few weeks back, and you'll see I put up a don't rush challenge with all girl battle rappers. They rapped theirs. They rapped it. They didn't do what everybody else did, let the record play and just, go from dingy clothes to fly clothes. They rapped it and they killed it. And all girls, my Verse, Shayna Ashley, Lady Luck, all of them. It's gonna take them a little bit of time, but once they learn how, they're gonna eat everybody's food. Because one thing that can't be denied in all the music, this is not just hip hop, this is country, this is reggae, this is R&B, this is rock and roll. The songs that resonate and stay are the lyrically powerful songs, right? People have a whole lot to say about Eminem, but the reason Eminem has the promise that he has and the stature that he has, he got in on a lyrical level. Did he have good beats? Yeah, he had good beats. But at any given time when Eminem was out, you could have probably found a beat that was better than some of his beats. And that's no disrespect to Dre.
No. I agree.
But lyrically, this is the dude that wrote Stan.
Yeah. Yep.
Arguably might be one of the best rap records ever written, ever. Stan.
Interesting.
So lyrics, Stevie Wonder, some of the stuff they did with Michael on Beach Street, even if we go back to poets like the last poets, Gil Scott-Heron, lyrics have a way of staying around.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happens with some of the stuff on the radio, like you was talking about the top 10, hey, God bless them, but they disappear real quick. I mean, in 2 months, we're not going to be listening to this Young Thug and Chris Brown album. We just not.
Say 20 years from now.
Exactly.
And that's what was ironic about the battle yesterday. Is
right.
Some of them hits were 20 years old.
It's true.
But there's nothing I hear today that you're going to be like, hey, put on that Young Thug, whoop-de-whoop. Like, I ain't heard that in a long time. Like,
it's probably gonna have some of the same effects that some of them fly-by-night disco records had.
Yeah.
There was a time that there was some of these disco records that you don't hear anymore. Yeah, there's some classic disco that still gets played. And, some of the deep house DJs remix it and play it. But there's a lot of disco records that you never will hear again. But at that time, they might have been the hottest record in the world. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I feel like. I feel like my personal opinion is where we are in the music right now is just a phase.
Yeah.
But the phase is our fault. And when I say our fault, I mean my generation. I don't blame it on Melly Mel, Grandmaster Caz, Mo D, Debbie D. I don't blame it on nobody that came before me. Because before me, they really was grappling for straws in terms of what they was going to do. They had no idea how to make these records. Nothing. I mean, let's face it. Biggest record that by flashing them is The Message, and that was written by a professor called Duke Booty. Mel's rhyme was already set on 2 separate records before. That A Child Is Born With No State of Mind was already set on 2 records prior, and then he still put it on The Message. And that's the only thing Mel wrote on The Message. The whole hook, It's Like a Jungle Sometimes, makes me wonder how good. All that's written by a guy named Duke Booty. and done by Sylvia's band. We did not know what to do yet. So I can't put it on them.
Yeah.
By the time Daddy-O got in the game, Chuck D got in the game, MC Shan got in the game, Queen Latifah got in the game, Light got in the game. I could keep on going. Dougie Fresh, the Get Fresh crew. We were learning how to make records. And so the concept of us not making records now and the absence of us right now is why young people make what they make.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we was around and we was spitting fire, it would take on a different perspective. I'm not saying some of those records still wouldn't work, because there might be some Key Glock and Young Dolph records that still would work. There might be some of those records that still would work, because some of them are good. You know what I'm saying? They're silly, but they good. You know what I mean? But it would hold a different perspective, and that's why I say hip hop's problem is scientific, because when you remove the elders, then you got the young people going crazy. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem. You know?
I gotta bring this up since we kind of on the music and the way it sounds. I saw an interview with you, and
okay,
I 100% was with you, and I've talked about it a lot on how good Rick Ross music sounds.
Right.
And you have been talking about samples, which I'm a huge sample producer.
Right.
But it's just so big. But I told people, I say, look, you might not be a fan of everything he does.
Right.
Rick Ross's engineer is amazing.
Listen, they pick all of the right stuff. And look, you talking, honestly, is you saying that, but what you're saying is exactly what I'm saying in a different way. Because one of the things that troubles some of the music that the young people make is no connection to legacy, right? So when we first started making records, all we wanted to do is try to sound like the Parks. So there was DJs that were doing 3-second backspins, and that's what we used to rap to. And so by the time we figured out how to make records and samplers came into place and all of those particular things, now we were just basically figuring out how to make that into a record.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's what makes Rapper's Delight such a big song, because we all used to rap the good times in the park.
Mm-hmm.
And so what they did is they replayed it, because at that time they didn't know how to sample, or there were no physical samplers or whatever, maybe a little guitar sampler, but nothing that could have looped it. So they went in and they replayed it, but that's what made Rapper's Delight so big. Remember, in the beginning of rap, if you didn't make it with the core audience, you didn't make it. So Rapper's Delight had to break on the street before it broke on the radio.
Yeah.
And it made it on the street because in the street, every Friday and Saturday night, every Friday and Saturday night in the clubs, every Friday, Saturday night in the parks, your favorite rappers from your block was rapping the good times.
Mm-hmm.
And so now there's a record on the radio to good times.
Yeah.
And so that's a connection to Nile Rodgers. That's a, you know what I'm saying? That's a connection to the music that comes before it.
Yeah,
that's what makes Rick Ross so dope. You know what I mean? Because when he's sampling, all the sample is homage. Right? I wrote a whole record about it. It's called Talking All That Jazz. The entire record's about sampling.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? And all sampling is about homage. But when you remove the homage, then what do you have?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got some real tinky, because most of us, I mean, I come from a hip hop band, but most of us wasn't musicians.
Yeah.
You know, we come from a DJ culture, so scratching that thing in and that thing is full, then that's one thing, because you're scratching in the whole thing. But now you got to go into the studio and start hitting things and banging things, and you don't really know. That's what ended up becoming that's even some of the stuff you hear right now. Besides for maybe Mike Will and Zaytoven, most of these guys don't play.
Nah. I mean,
so you know, it's kid cats they buying. You go in Sam Ash, what's that other place? Guitar Center.
It all. I see it all.
Yep.
I see
Yep.
it. I mean,
Yep.
what's crazy though is to be a fly on the wall on some of those studio sessions that were
wow.
Because to me, how did they track all that? No computers, no everything hardware, and you got these records from 1960s, 1970s that just sound better than anything mastered today. Is amazing.
Right.
Is amazing to me.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. And then you got these little geniuses like I got Prince Paul in my band. And then you got guys like the 45 King. I was actually at Marley Marl's house when he first learned how to sample. Because Tyrone took us to Queensbridge because we was running around with Tyrone and Magic. He said, yo, let's go to Marley house. We knew Marley because he was the DJ on the radio. And he said, let's go to Marley house. And when we got to Marley's house, he was like, yo, I could sample. And Tyrone was like, what are you talking about? He said, yo, I could take the sound off the record and play it. And that's when he started doing what he was doing. That's when he started doing that. He did the Dimples D record. Mm-hmm. Then he did that other one, the Marley Scratch. Right? Okay. Well, this is all before the bridge. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But the first, all of us in the beginning, the only thing we ever wanted to sample was Impeach the President, like all of us.
Yeah, let's go.
So, so that's what he did, the kick and the snare from that. But, that's the other thing that's why you need the elders, because you think about the genius of Prince Paul, the genius of Marley Marl, the genius of a Dr. Dre or Hank and Keith from the Bomb Squad. If you take them and pair them with a Young Thug, it may still be a trap record. But the way that trap record is going to sound, it's going to blow the walls off of something. You know what I'm saying? And that's the issue. And so connecting that is pretty much my mission from now on. It's just trying to make that connection. That's what I'm doing with Self-Destruction too. That's why I got Primo and Large Professor and Marley and Rockwilder and KG from Naughty by Nature and Easy Mo B producing the record, even though I'm gonna have these young dudes rapping. Even though I'm going for the Rod Waves and the JIDs of the world, you know what I mean? To be the rappers on the record, I need that classic mind for production. It's not even I don't want no Primo beat from 98. I need Primo to do something for me now. I don't need no KG. Well, what KG and them is doing right now is amazing, him and Tramp. But because they already up to date. But I'm just saying, I don't need what he did for Naughty. I need something for now, but I do need that mind. You know what I'm saying? And that's my goal, because I'm not mad at the young people. I'm mad at us. You know what I mean? Because I just think our contribution is so light right now. And I'm just talking music. That's all I'm talking about. Yeah, like sure. I know we speak at colleges. I know we do this. I know we got ventures here and we starting technology companies and all of that stuff. I know that. And that's cool. I mean, I think you should, come on, coronavirus will let you know that you should have multiple streams of income. Absolutely. You know what I mean? So I'm not talking about people's money, but I'm just talking about us being involved in the music. You know what I mean? And not just being the old dude that used to rap that got some classic records that your grandmother knows. Yeah. Because now it's the grandmothers. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Now it's the grandmother. It's not even your pops know my songs. It's now it's your grandfather knows my songs.
Generation to where it's extended to. It really
absolutely.
Is. I gotta ask too. You talk about, you heard Marley sampled for the first time. Top Billing was actually somewhat of a hiccup with the 1200, right? The way it dropped.
Oh, absolutely. So again, something about that Impeach the President that we all just, I'm not saying Apache wasn't dope. It's a few other break beats that are like the classic break beats, right? So Apache is one, Shack Up is one, Heaven and Hell is one, that boom, doom, 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 you know. But on the drum side, for some reason, Impeach the President takes the crown. So much that Aaron Fuchs, who owned Tough City Records, went and bought the rights to Impeach the President real early. He owns that. He bought it from the Honey Drippers or whoever he had to do right outright.
Interesting.
Because he knew people were going to be sampling it. Okay. So what ends up happening is I'm making this record on the audio too, and me and Nat Robinson, who's the dad, and Giz, who's the brother, we go upstairs because their studio's in their basement. We go upstairs to have a conversation. And while we upstairs having a conversation, a drum pattern that I had made for a record that I was doing on them was still in the SB12. Well, really, it was the 12. I think they had the 1200. And so now Milk is down there by himself, and he wants to load Impeach the President in it. And so he loads Impeach the President in it, and Impeach the President now, well, first of all, 1200 only had like, I think a second and a half or something. Yep. Yeah, it wasn't long. So he loads it in, and all he does is load it in and hit play. And it comes out the way it is because it's my pattern now playing the sample that he throws in there. But we stayed upstairs long enough. He wrote a whole song. So he runs upstairs. We think it must be a fire downstairs. You know what I mean? He runs upstairs. Yo, come downstairs, come downstairs. You know, Milk talks the same way that he raps.
Yeah.
So it's that high voice. Yo, come downstairs, come downstairs. So he comes down. We run downstairs like, what's happening? He says, watch this. And he starts it, and he does the whole thing for us. And when he does it, then he ends it. Rocking till your breath is gone. And then he stops the machine. And we looking at him. And he thinks we looking at him because we think it's whack. And I'm like, he said, it's whack, right? I'm like, yo, that's some of the most incredible shit I ever heard. He's like, yo.
What year is this?
I guess it's 87. Yeah, I guess it's 87. And then he says, Daddy, should I make it longer? I said, hell no. I said, listen, this is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and make the A side, make it funky. We're going to promote the A side. And we're going to let Red Alert and them think they found Top Billing.
Yeah.
We never even going to, and it happened exactly. And I said, and we're going to get more radio play than anybody else because this record is the length of a PSA. And that happened too. You know, but Ghost Stetson was a mistake too.
No, so I heard that too. Okay.
Yeah, Ghost Stetson was a mistake too. I was actually just showing my wife. She was playing something, and it had that beat that I wrote It had that beat that I wrote the pattern for the rhyme on Ghost Stetson from, and it was that I don't know what the name of that James Brown record is, but it's that break beat that goes Morgan, so funky, and it goes boom. And if you listen to the rhyme, that's where that came from. Now take a sec to check the pedigree. And what happened was the light said we should use live drum rolls and cymbals. I said, cool, who's gonna do it? And he was like, this before Bobby was in the band. He was like, my friend Nozar could do it. And I was like, bring him in. So I never forget, we had Nozar come in. The drum booth in Calliope that we used to record was like up these stairs. And I went out and bought all this big, the oak tag. Mm-hmm. And literally, when I needed him to roll, I would hold it up. When I needed him to do a stop, I would hold it up. But in order for him to keep the beat, he had to just, keep a beat underneath and then do the rolls and stuff. So then I had an engineer who later on went to work with D'Angelo and Q-Tip and them, Bob Power, right? I basically taught Bob Power hip-hop because he ain't know nothing about hip-hop before that. And Bob was very, he's real anal about it. Like, you can't listen to nothing loud, and he's so slow about pulling up the mixes and all that. And one day, Bob was sick. And so Chris, who's the owner of the studio, sent us another Bob. That was Bob Coulter, who would go on and make the Chili Peppers records with me and all of that. This tall Canadian dude with wild hair. And I never even knew, because we didn't know. I never even knew that a mix could be pulled up that fast.
Mm-hmm.
And so what he did was he pushed our vocals up. He never touched the Lin drum. That was where that other beat was. And the drums of Ghostet's is only 3 tracks. 2 stereo drums and one we used to put in the bathroom or on the other side of the booth for the ambience. And he just pushed up those 3 drum tracks. And now I'm hearing us rhyme with the live drums. I said, yo, erase all the electronic drums. He said, you sure? I said, absolutely. That is the record.
Amazing.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, and it just goes, again, all of that kind of experience can really help some of these young people, because some of these young people don't really know how to experiment.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times the first thing that they come up with is what they print. Mm-hmm. I'm dating myself by saying print, but that's the thing that they go, they send the master in like, oh, that's it. That's what I got, and that's what that's what they go for. Us, it was a different situation. We might go in the studio, lay down a lyric today, and by the time we get back tomorrow, we hate it.
Yeah.
And we say, throw it away. Let's do something different.
I knew studios back in the day, back in the 90s, that even if you had money, drug money, whatever, whatever.
Right.
You could go to the studio and try to pay engineer to track you. And if you weren't like serious or good, they wouldn't waste the time. It didn't matter how much.
Right.
They're not going to wait. It's too much. It's
right.
To go track this record, by the way.
Right. Right.
So it definitely is. So I know, I think Instagram cuts us at 45 minutes. So I got to ask, what's new? New Stetsasonic, what we got?
The new Stet record is coming out so dope. I can't even get my head wrapped around it, bro. Like, I heard this beat. We was getting ready to go to Europe, so I heard this beat right before I got to Europe, because I've been making these records, some new solo records, since like 2016. So I got another one coming out this year called Goat Antidote, but there's one out right now called From My Hood to You. I just had dropped a video, I guess a couple of weeks ago, me and Pasta News. Anyway. But my man, Kevin Dean, who did he worked for Uptown. Shout out Andre Harrell, R.I.P. My man, Kevin Dean, he did a bunch of stuff for Mary and Uptown. He sent me something. And it was so crazy. I was like, listen, if I do a Stet record, this got to be the Stet record. And I'm never going to listen to this beat again, because if I listen to it again, I'm going to take it for myself. So when I got with the guys, I played it for them. They loved it. So when we went to Europe, we opened to that beat, but we just used the No BS Allowed lyrics.
Oh, that's dope.
And so and then we came back, when we came back to New York, because we came back to New York and we was hanging out in New York a little bit more time before me and Delight, Delight still lives there, but before me and Y set off to go home. And I said, what y'all think about the track? They said, yo, it's crazy. And so we after that, we got together. I said, man, there got to be a single. Like, it's so nuts. We got to be a single. So throwing around ideas. Finally, we got to something that we all loved. And it took the guys a while to get me back their vocals. But once they did, this new Stet record crazy, B. Like, and the album is coming along good. Like, we starting to pick some more stuff. We talking to a couple of other producers. So yeah, the Stet record is gonna be dope.
How's it feel to be saying that?
It felt good for me, because since 2016, I've been making new records and I've been trying to get them in.
Yeah,
what I'm saying? And they've been just doing their own thing and not really. So me, I rhyme. I make a record a day at least. No, if it ain't gonna be a day, it's gonna be at least a record a week. You know what I mean? Like, I'm rhyming, right? So I like what I do as Daddy-O. I love it.
Yeah.
Because my expression is different and my experience is different. You understand what I'm trying to say? So I'm not, the things I talk about on the Stet records are not the same kind of things that I talk about on the Daddy-O records. I could get a little bit more personal, definitely get more street with the Daddy-O stuff, because I've been, that's my life, right? But I always miss it because I started with these guys. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I always miss trading, when you start in a group, trading rhymes off, my mellow, my man, get on the mic.
Yeah,
you miss that. So to be able to do that, especially now, jeez, it's
and
crazy. Like it's nuts.
you said no matter what, hip hop is kind of a form of nostalgia, anyways. So now
Oh
the
yeah,
and of you with who you started it with, I mean, that's
right.
an amazing feeling. In
Oh,
2000,
it's fun, man. It's a lot, and it's a lot of fun because my guys really didn't change.
yeah,
Like they the same dudes. You know what I mean? So like that's the fun part about Stetson Sonic is like no everybody the same. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we got older, but everybody the same. The jokes is everybody still cracking jokes. You know what I'm saying? Like it's still the same. So that's the fun part. It's like when we get back to it, it feels kind of like what I would probably describe as either riding a bike or driving a car.
yeah.
You haven't driven for a while, but as soon as you get back behind the wheel, you're like, you know what I'm saying? Boom. And that's how it feels. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how it always feels when we go on the road and do shows, even though we rehearse a lot,
Yeah.
but that's the way it feels when we go on the road. Like when we go on the road, we just lock back into it and just kick it off. And then I'm working real hard on this um on the self-destruction too. So my stuff, which I got a single coming next week called Gun Store Movie with Indigo Phoenix. Then I got another single coming Juneteenth with Speech and Chuck D. Chuck D from Public Enemy, Speech from Arrested Development called Bullets.
And this all
And
on your Bandcamp, right? Professor O Bandcamp.
yeah, it all be on my. But the new stuff I'm working on. But yeah, everything's up on my Bandcamp. I make sure of that. I definitely make sure of that. But yeah, we working, man. I mean, I'm happy, and like I said, man, I'm trying to get some of my peers involved because I really feel like if I could get my peers involved and moving the way I move, or at least even half of the way I move, then it turns everything into a different situation, And that's
Any
I
moment.
love the guys after us. The guys after us continue on, like you just had Master Ace on. They continue on.
By the way,
Jada and them.
he said, be sure to tell Daddy O I said what he said. Been a long
Yeah,
time since he
that's my man. Like, you know what I'm saying? They continue on. Those guys after us, they continue. It's our generation that's right there that they call a golden era that was hitting that 86 to 89 or 86 to 88 that you see kind of, besides for the shows, kind of lay back on, and I just would like to see cats, it take a minute. Sometimes it take a minute. You don't always know what you're doing. It's not going to be dope every time you go in the booth or every time you rap. But if you just keep doing it, you'll kind of find it, and you'll find that groove and keep it going.
Progress to
Yeah.
Look, I know I got the tip of the iceberg. I need a part 2 with Daddy O on the show.
Oh yeah. Hey, bro, I'm around, man. I'm around. Yeah. Especially right now because we all can't go. Even though I'm probably going out a lot more than y'all because we good in Houston. So I've been moving around a little bit, but I'm here, man.
I salute you, homie. I really appreciate you.
I thank you for the time, my brother, and we'll be in touch.
Yeah, we will. I really appreciate it.
All right.
Give any last shout out to the fans or anything you want to do before they kick us off?
Oh, just check out. Everything's in I'm Professor Daddy-O everywhere. Everything's in my link. The link in my bio takes you to everything. You know what I'm saying? So just check that out. Be on the lookout for the self-destruction too. You know what I mean? Because
absolutely.
Yo, these guys, these producers I got, Premier and them is cooking up some stuff, man. It's kind of crazy, man. And some of the MCs that it's going.
We need part 2. Dad, I salute you. Thank you for coming to the Whutz Word Podcast.
No doubt, my brother. We'll talk soon. All right, peace.
All right, we about to be out. They about to cut us off. We'll see you next week with Yo-Yo. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Salute to Master Ace. Salute to Daddy-O. Let's go.